Trump injecting Vice President Harris's race and then suggesting that she's not actually black. Why is he doing that? Should he stop?
Well, I mean,
yes or no?
I didn't hear him say it. I didn't hear what he said about her race. I am not going to weigh in on her race. As a woman,
I did say it.
Okay, well, as a woman, I want to weigh in.
She turned black, he said. He said she was raised Indian. Now she was Indian, all he knew. Now she turned black.
Well, she's of mixed race, She's of mixed race.
This doesn't take that much courage, honestly, to just say that was out of bounds.
I don't know what he said. I didn't see
he said that she turned black. He questioned whether she was really black. I don't think that's that hard to say that's out of bounds. Can you say that?
I mean, I didn't say it, and I would not say it.
Just say yes.
I just
we may connect that to your inability to pronounce her name.
We are out of time.
It's a very
we are out of time.
It's a cult. They won't say anything that goes against the cult. Yes, you are.
It's a cult. I mean, that's what it is. This isn't news or anything. I like that Abby Phillips brought that up. I will only say, if you're gonna do that sort of thing, and you should do that sort of thing, you're gonna have Nance Mace on, you wanna question her about this, you know that she's gonna try to weasel out of it, you gotta have the clip ready to go. It's like when you're gonna stop like a congressman like in the halls and be like, Trump tweeted this crazy thing, you gotta print it out, man. You gotta have it ready because they're gonna say they didn't hear it, they didn't see it, I don't know, you gotta show it to them. So that would have been my only critique. But right there, she was told exactly what he said and she refuses to admit that it's racist. But that doesn't mean that she isn't going to join him there, because in the extended interview, she starts talking about Kamala Harris and she mispronounces the VP's name. Now, that has happened a lot. Nance Mace obviously has been in government. She's been around Harris for years at this point, and obviously should know, what her name is, how it's pronounced. In the same way that how could you not know about the BJ news cycle at this point? And she just kept doing it over and over. They would say you're mispronouncing it, and she would say I can mispronounce it if I want, and she would say it over and over again. And that led to tweets from like End Wokeness saying, Kamala's sacred and holy name is slightly mispronounced. All hell breaks loose. You are a white woman that is disrespecting a black man, which is just a literal description of what was happening. To which she says these boys were so easily triggered. And both of them just got it so wrong. And Wokeness, it wasn't slightly mispronounced, it was mispronounced. And it was intentionally mispronounced. That's what that whole segment was. Now, maybe there's something lost in translation, and Wokeness, after all, is a Russian bot account. Look it up, it became super clear when they talked about warm water ports. But for Nance Mace, they weren't triggered on the panel. They identified what you were doing. The point of you mispronouncing it, and when corrected, doubling down and mispronouncing it again, is to tell the audience she has a silly foreign name that doesn't deserve respect. It's not like Nancy or anything, like a real name that people should know how to pronounce. That's a foreign name, that's an outsider, other name, and nobody needs to respect it. And that basically is what Donald Trump was selling with the idea that she's black, she's Indian, whatever, who knows, maybe she became something. It's super weird, you don't have to respect it. That is what they're selling to their white voter base. The idea that these people aren't like you, they don't deserve consideration or respect or compassion or humanity. And she is very much a part of that movement, or, sorry, I don't want to offend the Congresswoman, cult.
Yeah. Hey, don't scroll away. Come back. Because before the video continues, we just want to urge you to lend your support to TYT. You power our honest reporting. You do it at tyt.com/team, and we love you for it.
So I'm mixed feelings about this. So usual, slightly divergent opinion from me, but hold. So first on Nance Mace pretending that she doesn't know that Donald Trump said that she just turned black. She knows, okay? That was not a small news story, that was a gigantic news story. The reason she doesn't want to talk about it is because what Trump has said is asinine, and she can't say that because they're all obligated to kiss his ass. So that puts her in what she views to be an unwinnable situation because she can't be honest. But then that's Tuesday for politicians, let alone a Republican politician. So that's why she's just trying to get away from that segment the whole time. Please let this be over, please let this be over, right? And she's filibustering. Now, on the mispronouncing the name, I'm biased here because I have a non-pronounceable name, so I don't care at all. If I cared, my whole life would be centered around caring about people mispronouncing my name. So I'm gonna come back to that in a second. Triggered, I find this one hilarious and nonsensical. Like, yeah, I did something stupid and it triggered them. I got you guys. No, you didn't get us. You got yourself by saying something stupid. And then we corrected your ass. How is that a win for you? But like MAGA really believes that. That's like their favorite thing in the world. If we say something super stupid and then you guys react, I got you triggered. That's not a thing, guys. I don't know why you think that's a thing. And besides which, if like all it takes, whether you said something stupid or smart, is getting a big reaction out of people, and that means that's a giant win, triggering those people is a giant win, well then I'm the biggest winner on the internet. Okay, I mean, nobody could dispute that. I've triggered the entire internet, right? I've triggered every part of the political spectrum, and right wingers. You guys have been triggered by me for now what, a couple of decades. So apparently, I'm the world champion debater, not by my logic, but by your logic. Because the angrier you get at me, the more I'm winning apparently. So thank you, I appreciate it. Okay, so now back to the name thing. I'm curious what you think, Maz, because growing up Middle Eastern, both of us here in America, your name's a little bit easier than mine because mine starts with a C and is pronounced J. So Cenk is not pronounceable if you don't know it, let alone Uygur, right? So I'm curious what your take on that is.
Well, I'll be honest with you. For me, when people say instead of Maz, they say Maz, it's fingernails on the chalkboard in my mind. And in all honesty, I was like, when will I ever be famous enough so everyone can just get it right and it's Maz? And I would assume that if I were running for president and I'd been the vice president and I'd been a senator and I'd been attorney general, I'd been the public eye for all that long, they would get it right. But they still don't get it right because now intentionally they don't want to get it right because to John's point, they want to point out that she's a foreigner, that she's not one of us. And by the way, it's like, oh, I got you. I could say whatever I want. Well, the problem here is it's a disrespect, and it's unfortunate to see because Nance Mace, when she was first a member of Congress, she wasn't as extreme, but she's gone extreme. She's kind of like, I would say, a slightly more intelligent Marjorie Taylor Greene, which is not much of a compliment, but it kind of is, in that she realizes that's what she needs to do because she clearly knows what Donald Trump said about Kamala Harris being, turning black. She knows what it is. She heard it. She knows it's wrong. And in a sane world, she would say, listen, I don't agree with what he said, but he says whatever he says, and it's not, I didn't say it, and move on. But she knows that some of her base probably feels that, oh yes, we should call her out on that. Why we've seen it, the right wing and how they're trying to run with that. Oh, she was always Indian, now she's black because she wants to vote. And it's so she knows that there's members of her constituent that think that what Donald Trump did was right, and she doesn't want to isolate them because that's who's helping her win. And so it's just sad to see somebody like this go on TV and just be so, she's basically playing to an audience of one, but then the audience of one in his base because that's what she needs. And we see that all the time. There's no spine in these people. And if I'm a voter in North Carolina, I'm going, gosh, I don't know. I don't like this person. And I'm really going to look at what they've done for my district and see if I would want to vote for them again. Because I just feel that they take their own constituents as fools and suckers, and they make their constituents dumber and dumber by trying to play down to their stupidity. And then they come across as, there's a congresswoman for God's sake, talking like this. It's just, it's sad to watch.
Okay, let me be specific about the issue I have, and maybe you still disagree with me. I'm not getting down on her for mispronouncing a person's name. You can mispronounce a name. What you should have is the strength of character, or like the fundamental grace to, when you're corrected, you update your understanding of it and you say it correctly. Particularly if you are mispronouncing the name of a black woman and you're on a panel with multiple black people that are telling you it is fundamentally disrespectful, and you're doubling down and saying, no, I don't care about y'all's people's names, I'm gonna say it however I want. But the bigger issue is, this is not some random person that like she just found out about. She's been around for a long time. We've heard her name many times. And again, even then I wouldn't have an expectation for most Republicans. But when you are corrected on the panel, just correct yourself and then move on. She decided to make this her stance. I'm not fundamentally like all that down on people mispronouncing names. Again, the racial stuff is different, but people have pronounced my last name when they meet me with an L only about 30,000 times in my life. I don't take it personally because they don't know who I am because I'm not that notable. But Kamala Harris has been around for a long time. Nance Mace has heard her name 100,000 times, and she is choosing to make a stand. It's very different than accidentally mispronouncing a name. She wants people watching that to know that she doesn't think it matters whether the name is pronounced correctly or not. And bear in mind, Trump did it to Nikki Haley as well.
Yeah, so let me put more nuance into it, because John, you're absolutely right that when corrected, if you purposely continue to pronounce it the wrong way, you're trying to offend the other person. And that makes you what we colloquially call a bad guy, right? And so in this case, she's being a bad person on purpose, which is the Republican strategy. Now, at the same time, part of the reason I said there's two reasons why I say don't overemphasize this. So number one, a lot of good, honest people get names wrong, and they feel really self-conscious about it. And when you attack someone for getting a name wrong, they feel personally attacked. And so they feel like, well, I was just trying my best. Jesus, guys, these left guys can't be appeased. I mean, you get something a little wrong and they just call you racist right away, right? So I don't want that reaction. I think that's a bad reaction. I don't want it in my personal life. I don't want it in politics. So that's why I warn against it a little bit. And then secondly, when they do it on purpose and they seem to be rubbing, our faces in it, that's a win for us politically. Take the win and don't overemphasize it. And I know why they're doing it, in case you don't know. So Kamala sounds, I guess, more westernized. I don't know that that's really true. All of this conversation is silly to begin with, but Kamala, in their mind, sounds more African. That's why they're saying it. And if you're wondering why does it sound more African, this might be a generational thing. Among the really silly reasons why is because when I was growing up, and at that, a lot of these characters are either my age or older. In wrestling, there was Kamala the Ugandan giant, okay? And you're gonna think there's no way that didn't stick in their heads and that's part of it. No, that's why.
I didn't know that.
Yes, that's part of the reason why they keep calling her Kamala, because they think of Kamala the Ugandan giant. And remember, Hulk Hogan was at the RNC. So this is not like some crazy theory like, oh, they don't know wrestling. Oh, wow, what a coincidence, right? So that's why to them it sounds more African, right? But if they're doing that, that's a gift to you, right? That's them saying, ha ha, look at her stupid name, which then triggers everybody with a different name to go, I hate you and I can't wait to vote against you, right? Take the win. When we make a bigger deal out of it, then we alienate the people who are mispronouncing names but don't mean to. So that's why I say what I say.
Well, and to your point there, we live in a different time. There was a time when this attack, even when they were doing Barack Hussein Obama, it worked for some people, but that's such a dated attack now. All of this stuff, that's the other thing you look at. They have nothing. They have nothing new. It's all just a replay. If you could play a speech from Trump from 4 years ago and watch the stuff he's saying, and it's the exact same thing. It's just a repeat from 4 years ago, 8 years ago. And so this is their attempt at Barack Hussein Obamaing Kamala Harris, and it's failing really badly because we're in a world now where there's a much more diverse world. There's a lot of names out there that are unique. Fortunately, there's people of different backgrounds in positions of power now, whereas like 10, 15, 20, 30 years ago, that was not the case. So maybe 10, 20, 30 years ago, there might be somebody in the middle who's trying to decide and go, oh my God, Kamala, she's a foreigner. She's not, I'm not gonna vote for her. But now you'd have to be really stupid to have that argument work for you. And there is still a portion of the population that still has that. But the portion that I think is gonna tip the election to, hopefully, fingers crossed, don't jinx it, Kamala Harris, is not gonna fall for this crap. It's such an old strategy.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.